Hello everyone. Today I'm playing with these little rocks. I received a picture of a beautiful sunflower from one of our subscribers here. Thank you, Anne Marie. And it's kind of cool because it was from Portugal. This little sunflower sticking out of, I think it's a watering can. And I thought, oh, how fun. I'm going to tuck that one lone sunflower into some rocks. My supplies I'm using today, and you can fast forward through these, are my Artisto pad. You know, I show these to you all the time. This is my summer one. And I log these, I journal them, I go back to them. I just love them. And then I'm going to be using my 8-round brush. I'll link a Princeton though down below because the Princeton brushes are awesome as well. Mine are sold out. And what I'm gonna do first here, and my Lang student paint. So let's just give those a good little spray. You want to make sure, beginners, if you have pans, they're going to be hard and you just want to give them a little squirt, a little spray just to reactivate them. But look at all these wonderful browns and greens and yellow and oranges. It's like the perfect palette, you guys, honestly. And then I've got my little handy Meeden palette here. I have two. This one's bigger. I love them though because they fit right in my hand and they just feel good. I've also got my Meeden 2-well water dish. You always want to make sure you're washing and rinsing your brush. And all right, so we're going to use some dry brush here. We're going to use some wet in wet, and I cut this little card and I'm going to do some scraping for some texture on those rocks. So let's go. All right, I'm going to go into, I've got this brown, and I think I kind of mixed this brown, but it's kind of a burnt sienna, a Van Dyke brown, and I'm just going into that. And as you can see, it's very movable, liquidy, and then tap, tap, tap. I don't want to have too much water there. And I'm just gonna go in and I'm pressing down on my brush. So see that width I'm getting? And leaving maybe some dark spots, or well, I'm sorry, white spots. And then I'm going to go into like a yellow ochre. So let me get some of that on my palette here. Yellow ochre is that beautiful warm yellow. Be careful though, because it can be a little, and then I'm tapping in here. It can be a little intense. And then I'm gonna go into this rock here and I'm gonna leave barely a white edge there. So see how I'm spreading out my brush. I'm widening that belly. And then this one here, leaving that white space. Rinse my brush and just kind of blend that bottom there. And then before that dries, I want to go in with some darker. So maybe a little black, brown, Prussian blue I've got in there. And I want to tap in. Just some little spots here where there might be some shadows down near the bottoms. And you know, this is a situation where actually some bleeding is perfectly fine. And then before that dries, I want to take my little card. This is a little card that came with one of my Artisto or Artex products. And I'm going to scrape a little. You could also use a credit card. So this is going to create some fun little white marks. It's also going to create some dark spots, which I like. Maybe I want to draw that out a little. So I'm always looking for different ways to create some texture. Now you could also use in here, let me find it, 1 second. This is just coming to me. I have a palette knife here, which is awfully fun as well. And see the little marks it creates? Now, before that dries too much, I'm gonna go in with my 8 and add a little bit more of that dark brown because I want it to blend. See that? And I can even go in with just a damp brush and tap in with some water. Maybe I want to do that here. Could even pick up some light spots. So just play with these rocks. See what kind of textures you can get. I'm going to go in for a little bit more of that brown. Tap in, scrape, lift. Lifting really creates some wonderful light spots, which look really great. And then I feel like I want a little darker in here, so I'll go into that Van Dyke brown and just tap in. And then let that just do its own thing. Okay, so are we ready for our beautiful little sunflower? I'm going to use dabs to do this. And what I want to do first is grab my fan brush. 1 second. So get into my little handy dandy thing here. And let's find our fan brush. There it is. By the way, everyone, I'm going to put a fan brush in my subscription boxes. I'm also going to grab my toothbrush to do some splattering. So we could probably do that right now. Let's go into maybe our dark brown, just with the tip of our brush. And you want it to be a little bit wet to splatter. We can even kind of cover some of these other areas. Ooh, yeah, see that? See the texture that adds to your rocks? Isn't that fun? All right, let's go in for our grass now. I think I'm gonna actually use this. So I will grab some of my green. I'm using, this is kind of a mixture. I can always go in and go darker. So I'm going to go for my tree green first. And that's gonna be pretty against these rocks. And let's just do flicks here. Now, if you have a smaller brush, use that. So as you can see, I'm just flicking here. And what's kind of fun is I'm even getting some of the brown in there. Maybe we have a few in here, just little ones. And I have the lightest touch. I'm barely using the tip of my brush. And I'll go in there and add maybe a little bit of that dark green and just add in a few shadowy colors like that. Maybe we want a few here. And what you could do that would be really fun here is take that palette knife again and scrape some in. Look at that. Isn't that fun? Make them going all different directions. So look at all the texture, guys. We've got splatter, we've got wet and wet. We used a little credit card or a palette knife and scraped some. We lifted some of the paint with a damp brush up there. So much fun. Okay, let's go in now with that 8 brush. And I'm just gonna do dabs for this beautiful little sunflower. So I've got my cad yellow here. I'm just going to add some water, get it so it's pretty. It's like tea. And picking up some of that paint, tap, tap, tap. And let's just do dabs with the tip of my brush pointing outward. I don't want to get too picky here. Sunflowers are pretty simple, like that. Maybe we have another one right here. I like to do things in 3s. There we go. Wash, rinse my brush, and now I'm gonna go in with maybe some orange. So I will go into my little palette, pick up some of that orange using the side of my brush, tap, tap, tap. A little bit more. You want to go in with less water because this is already wet. So just tapping in like that. Isn't that cute? Don't you love those rocks? There we go. Maybe we have a little bit here just for some interest. Look how cute that is. I feel like I want some more grass, so I am going to use that 8 round again. Let's go in there, add a little bit more grass, and what I could have done is pulled some out with that palette knife like we did here. So let's just, there we go, and we'll give our little sunflower a stem and a leaf, another dab, maybe some here sticking out. Oh my gosh, look how cute this is. There we go. Look at that. Now, once this dries a bit, I can go in there. I just now took a thirsty brush, which just means I went in, rinsed my brush, tapped it off on my paper, and now I go in and pick up some of that paint. The orange kind of spread and took over. So I'm gonna go in with that yellow ochre, and let's just make some more stems. Now, if that's too much, I can do the same thing. It kind of got away from me there. I can take off some of that paint and lift it out. So I really wanted to show you that. Just in case your painting ever kind of gets away from you, you can always go in and do that. Now for the center, I want to add in just some dark brown, which will also bring in some of this brown of the rock. So I'm going to give it a quick shot with my heat gun. If I went into that little flower with, oops, sorry for that camera shake, with dark while it was damp, it would have just went everywhere. So I'm gonna go in now, right directly into my pan of black paint. Actually, let's do some brown. It's not quite so harsh because I want it fairly thick. So I'm going in, picking some of that up, and I'm going to tap in with the lightest touch. I hold my brush straight up and down, just the tip of my brush. And look at that. There we go. Could do that here, maybe here. And look at how cute that is. So I hope Anne-Marie sees this. I was so grateful to her for showing this to us. Now that this is dry, I could go in there with a tiny bit of that orange. Now that's cad orange, so it's quite potent. It's very saturated. And I could go in and add just a couple. And I don't mind that black is blending in. I think that actually looks kind of cool, just with these little dabs. And there you go. I think we're about done. The only thing I could think of I might want to do here is maybe add a couple yellow or orange little splatters over here to look like there's some flowers in the background. Ready? So when you're splattering, make sure you put quite a bit of liquid on your brush. Otherwise, it's not going to come off your brush. And I'll use, let's just use this. Oop. There we go. All right, well, I hope you have fun with that. Maybe add it into some of your landscapes. Such a great way to do your little rocks. I've shown rocks several times with saran wrap and all kinds of things. One last little tip. I know we did splattering, which added in a ton of texture. Another way to add texture would be to take your brush, put some of that brown paint on the side of it, and pull it across your paper. So if I wanted to add a little texture here, I would hold it parallel because I just want to be scraping or dragging my brush across the tops of the texture on here. See that? I feel like I want a little darker so you can see that. So that is another way to really give some texture to your rocks. And maybe even some texture down here. I almost feel like you could have some green grass in here too, but you can kind of play with that on your own. So there you go. I hope you have fun with that. I hope you give it a try. You know, it's all about the play. Play with all your brushes, play with things in your kitchen, and just see what you come up with. You know, you probably have everything you need at home, and there you go. So if you're on Patreon, please make sure you share on Patreon. I'd love to see what you're doing. And I will see you all soon. Thank you so, so much for being here with me. You guys make this community so much fun. How lucky are we that everybody's so kind and so supportive. And I hope to see you in a class one day. Meanwhile, you stay right here. Nothing's changing here. And I will see you all soon. Happy painting.